Hello everyone, welcome back to day 6 of my 14 days of trying to make as much money as I can in March. I say that it's £500 that I'm aiming to make across the second half of March. If you don't really know what I'm talking about, then please go back probably like 3 videos now, I think, where you'll find me explaining that I really don't think I'm going to make enough money online this month to pay all of my bills, so I'm trying to really focus in on the income streams that I have got that could pay me and hopefully will pay out during the course of March. Now, in my last video, sorry about that light. We're just gonna have to put up with these things at the moment until I get this room sorted out. But at the end of the last video, at the end of day 5, I ran through all of the different things that I did and then was talking about how I felt I'd got a bit stuck in kind of busy work and also just bitty ad hoc just bits and pieces and stuff like that. So whilst I did get a lot of things done, they weren't quite the right things, I don't think. So I've made my to-do list for day 6 and it's very, very different. First of all, it's a lot shorter and I think it's more focused. Now it has got some things on there like hoover upstairs, which I didn't manage to do yesterday, and that's because at some point I have to fit in a bit of, housework and household chores and kind of trying to stay on top of things. The household chores are split with my other half, possibly not quite 50-50. I reckon it's maybe more like 60% me, 40% him, but it's not just me who's doing these things. But hoovering upstairs is a job on my list. And then I've got doing some Etsy research using the affiliate program that I've just become a part of. So I'm very excited about that. And I'm going to be researching what kind of decorative paper, like printable, digital downloadable decorative paper that people are looking for on Etsy. And I'm hoping it's going to give me some ideas. I've got the paper that I put on in my KDP books. So I'm gradually kind of moving that onto Etsy as printables as well. But I do want to check to see what fresh paper I can make. And I need to know what's selling and what's popular. So I'm hoping that that's what this business tool is going to do. Once I've done that Etsy research and I'm really happy that the tool is helpful, then I'm going to add the affiliate link to it in the description box of my video. So you'll be able to see it in there. And once I've checked it out and kind of think it's good, then I'll start talking about it more openly as well. And I've put on here to add 4 listings to Etsy. So Etsy research, using the business tool that I'm now an affiliate for, add 4 listings to Etsy. Then I've got hoover the stairs, finish uploading that KDP book, which I still haven't done, and update my scrapbook paper spreadsheet. So there's not that much on here, but those 4 listings on Etsy that have been, well researched, that's the thing. The 4 listings on Etsy, that's the thing that could start bringing in some money straight away. So I feel like I'm focusing on the right things today. Plus there are a few like tiny little jobs that I can just, cross off as I go. Because, one more day, like I've got today and then day 7, and then we're halfway through this challenge, and I don't want to get sort of halfway through it and feel like I've done all the wrong work, like I haven't really made any progress, and that I'm no further forward than I would have been if I hadn't done any of it, because that's kind of how I'm feeling at the moment. So that's what I'm going to be getting on with. I'm going to hit that Etsy research right now. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Okay, so I have been just doing some really basic research to see what's trending on Etsy in terms of decorative paper. And I've been using something called Sales Samurai. I've actually found out about like a popular type of digital paper that I would never have expected to be popular, and it's something that I can make really easily. So that might be my starting point today. What I've done is I've kind of drawn a line in terms of doing any further research, because you can end up just going down a rabbit hole and end up with too many ideas, and this is what happens with KDP as well. You end up not actually doing the thing because you're too busy like researching every single last element of it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a paper pack based on this thing that I found is popular that I wasn't expecting to be popular. So a paper pack based on that. And then the other thing that I found out is a load of really useful tags for one of the paper packs that I've already got on there. So I think today's job is I'm going to slightly adjust the upload 4 packs. I mean, I might get to 4, but I'm going to say 1 pack uploaded based on the thing that I found out is popular. And then I'm going to say go through I think I've got 4 paper packs on there already. Go through all of those using Sales Samurai and sort of looking for better keywords and tags, and almost like go in and overhaul the listings that I've already got. I think that would be a really good use of my time. Right now though, I'm stopping for lunch. I'm going to show you it's a bit messy, isn't it? Look at that. That's not very artfully displayed, is it? It's basically a tuna salad bowl. And it's kind of using up just some leftover bits that are in the fridge. All that's in there is the tuna with a little bit of mayonnaise, some red onion, some cucumber. I've got like a whole little gem lettuce chopped up in there, and a little bit of grated cheese. But yeah, I'm going to enjoy that, and then I'm going to get on and see how long it takes me to make this new paper pack. As you can probably hear, my neighbour is making a lot of noise. He's decided he's going to do some more DIY. So there's lots of noise, there's lots of banging about, and I'm losing the plot over here. I'm losing my concentration and focus. I can't quite bring it back. I can't quite sort myself out. What I have managed to do though is I've used Sales Samurai. We're just going to have to talk through it because it's just this constant noise. I've used Sales Samurai to find keywords for all of my existing scrapbook paper books that I have in my shop. So I have updated those and I've switched some out, put some fresh ones in. I feel like that is a reasonable contribution towards something that could sell this month and bring an income in. What I had to give up on because of the banging noise that not even headphones quite gets rid of. What I've had to, I can't concentrate to make any new scrapbook paper, so I'm pushing that on to another day. I possibly could concentrate enough to get one of my existing KDP papers on there, but even that requires a level of concentration because I have to slightly adjust things and create slightly new like graphics and things for the images that you get on Etsy shops and stuff. So even that I'm struggling with at the moment. What I've decided to do though instead, because I need to do something, this is my work day that's being interrupted with all of this banging noise, and it's not like I can't stop someone doing their DIY. What I have decided to do is, this is my little breakdown of all the little stages that I need to do to get that KDP book finished and uploaded, because the book itself is pretty much finished. I just need to double check the layout of the front cover and get the description written. Almost everything else is kind of done or isn't going to take wild amounts of concentration. So I figure I actually stand a chance of getting this done, and I've broken it down into these different things. So like title, subtitle, author, name, description, categories, keywords. Those are all the different sort of boxes and things that I have to fill out on KDP. So I'm going to go through those now and just try and cross out and complete as many of those as possible while this hideous noise is going on. If it gets really bad, I might just have to abandon it altogether and try and come up with something else to do, or maybe just give myself a little break of an hour or something and see whether it starts up again or stops or whatever. I can't even speak. So I'm going again just to see if I can get a little something done. The banging has finally stopped now that it's 4 o'clock and I'm about to down tools for the day. So what I haven't explained is that whilst this is a work day, this is actually also a weekend day today as well. So my 14 days are basically comprised of the 14 days where I'm not kind of booked in to go and do something with someone. So this just happens to be a weekend day, and that's why I'm kind of downing tools at 4 o'clock rather than 5:30, rather than working in the evening. So it's slightly different setup for today. The banging has finally stopped though, although it's a bit too late for what I wanted to get done. But I'm really, really pleased that I stuck at it, even though I got really emotional for about 5 or 10 minutes just thinking, oh my god, another day is gone and you're not doing the thing that you wanted to do, which was the Etsy uploads. You know, you're terrible, you're useless, you're whatever. But I have got through some other things on my list again, so I'm making some kind of progress, and I at least have a clearer idea from the research that I did, that what it is that I'm going to try and make when I hopefully come back on day 7, will it be? Come back on day 7 and just work on those Etsy downloads. So here is my little summary of what's been achieved today, bearing in mind I had to find quite a few little odd jobs to do whilst all of the noise was going on. So we had the Etsy research, and I finally finished uploading that KDP book. I wrote the description. I don't think it's my best description by any stretch, but I've written it. And the great thing about KDP is, whilst you can't change the title, and I'm trying to think, I think there's some other things that you can't change as well, you can go in and change up your keywords, and you can go in and change your description. So, you know, I know that perhaps on another day I might come back, I might have a little look through that description again and make some adjustments and make some improvements. But for now, it has something in there that's basically just explaining what's in the book, and they can see what's in the book from what's on the front cover and what's on the back cover as well. And I feel like it's enough to put it out into the world, and it's that point of drawing a line and saying it doesn't have to be perfect. This is as good as it's going to get at the moment, and I don't want to just keep sitting on this book because I'll miss opportunities for it to sell. So it's been done. Also, whilst I was on KDP, I realised that I had another book on there that was almost finished and just needed a few little tweaks and a few little kind of bits filled in here and there. So I went in and did that, and so I've now got another book that's being reviewed for publication as well. So that is fantastic. I mean, I don't know whether these books will sell, but certainly with the decorative paper, one of the other things that I did is I went and updated my scrapbook paper spreadsheet, which is, I'll try and put a screenshot of it up for you. It's where I'm just keeping a record really of the scrapbook paper and decorative paper packs and things that I'm making, and tracking them to see whether they've made any sales and how many copies have sold. And what I realised, or what I've noticed is, so I've now uploaded a total of 16, and then there's the one that's in review, which will be the 17th, but at the moment there are 16 published. I'm looking to my right because it's up on screen at the moment. So there's 16 published and 14 of them have sold at least once. I mean, it's just such a high kind of like hit rate with them that I kind of can't quite believe it, but I'm really, really pleased. And I really do want to, some people that are interested in KDP and interested in, you know, scrapbook paper on KDP, I really do want to make the Q&A video about it, and then also perhaps a separate video talking again about what it is that I think I'm doing that's kind of bringing in sales for these books. Because I'm not the best at researching KDP by any stretch, and I'm probably not even like the best at making the scrapbook paper pads themselves, and I'm certainly not the best at the descriptions, but I just think that 14 out of 16 isn't bad. And so there's 2 out of the 16 that have never sold a copy. One of those is fairly new, although it's kind of getting older. It went out at the end of January, and normally I will have got a sale by now, but I haven't, so that one might be a bit of a miss. And then there's another one that's been on there for months and has just never sold. It might sell a copy one day, but I think I'll be looking at that to see what is it about that means it's not selling, if that makes sense. So yeah, so there's the 2 that haven't sold. There's 2 that have only sold 1 copy, but one of those is very new, and the other one is actually very similar to another book that is selling copies. So I would imagine that the other one has kind of crept up the search rankings, and the one that's only sold 1 copy is just quite low down and is not really generating much. So I think that could explain those. And then all of the rest of them are ranging from 3 copies, I think, all the way up to 31 copies. There's one book that sold 31 copies so far. And then I've got quite a few others that are in the mid-teens. So I've got like 11, 13, 10, 16, 15, that sort of territory. But overall, I'm really, really pleased. Really, really pleased with that. So that, you know, what I've done today, it's not going to help me out in March, which was my original intention, but uploading those 2 books could potentially help me out later on in the year. So all is not lost. It's not a terrible thing that I've done. In the Etsy digital download shop that I'm working on, where I'm putting this decorative paper into it, I've set up the 10% off thank you offer and the offer that goes out to shoppers that have your stuff in their cart, because there's a big message came up when I went into the shop dashboard basically saying that 2 people had got my products in their cart and the total sales were like £7 something, so not like loads or anything, and that I should set up the send an offer thing. So I have done that, so that's something towards that Etsy shop. And obviously I've gone in to the back end of all of the paper that's on there, and I've adjusted the tags, and I've also adjusted the title slightly as well. Oh, and then the other random thing that I've done is I emptied the trash can on my Mac that I use because it's getting a bit slow, and deleted about 4,000 items from there. So yeah, just feeling it's a bit of a mixed bag. I haven't quite done the things that I wanted to do yet again, and yet I have done things, like small things, some big things that are contributing to my income as a whole, rather than specifically in March, which is what I'm meant to be doing. So I'm feeling a bit mixed about it. I'd love to know what you think. So yeah, drop me a message in the comments, and yeah, I've got to think about what I'm going to do on day 7. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to day 7. Now, what you guys have not seen is that I have had a little bit of a break. So I set up this challenge, didn't I? Because I had 14 days left in March that I could have as work days. So I've actually had some of my off days where I've been off doing things. And let me tell you, that break has been very, very welcome. I was starting to get a little bit fatigued and bogged down and sort of lacking clarity with what I was doing, which I guess has kind of coincided with the midpoint of my little challenge for myself. I also think that I possibly sounded a bit down in sort of day 6. I don't know until I edit it, but I might have to put a little intro before it just to let everyone know that I'm okay. I just think I hit a bit of a brick wall with everything, hence all the busy work and all the ticking off all the jobs that, you know, could have waited. But yeah, I'm back now and I'm feeling a lot better, and I've got my enormous mug of tea. Look at that, it's huge mug of tea. And I've got my little bit of sort of household stuff out of the way, as you've just seen. I just needed to do a little top-up shop. So those of you that watch all my videos, you'll have watched my, let me just shift position slightly. Those of you that watch all of my videos will have seen my sort of like monthly budget one, where I talk about how much money is spent on what different things every month. And so there's a £200 grocery budget, which we thought we were really struggling with, but actually this month hasn't been quite so bad. And I think it is because we have sort of been out for days and we've been taking money from spending money to buy various meals and things. So I don't know, I still think the £200 is going to have to go up, but this month we've managed to stay within it. And I had £15 left in the kitty, and the stuff that you just saw me buy, and hopefully I will have put some prices and things up there for you, so you get an idea of how much things cost over here if you're not from the UK. And that came to about £12 something, so we're within budget. And we have our monthly food shop coming in 1, 2, 3, 4, on the 4th day from today. Yeah, so that's all good, that's all out of the way. And because I've kind of jumped over some days because I've been out and about and things, we're back on a reselling day again, which just come around quite quickly. But I've got some parcels that I definitely need to get out today. And you can see this is my day 7. I've just been writing down things to do, and this is fairly standard really, I would say, for my sort of reselling day. I've got my business dispatch little checklist, my personal dispatch checklist, because I think I've just sold one thing actually on there, but I'm still writing it in and I'm breaking it down. So days where I feel like I'm perhaps not fully motivated and like I need lots of little things to check off, that's when I sort of break it down like that. And then I need to do a financial update because obviously some money has come in from various things. Actually, no, I think it's mainly eBay has come in over the last kind of few days that I haven't been working. And then, yeah, it's just kind of listing on Etsy is the bit of the kind of the big push for today, and some personal items on. Right, so what I'm doing with my decluttering thing, which I haven't actually done an update video on for a while, I ought to do that. What I have decided to do is, so people were talking about vintage and reminding me to perhaps not talk quite so publicly about what I'm doing there, just because it's meant to be for private sellers, even though there are loads of people that I buy from on there that are clearly not private sellers on there. And also I did get an item kicked off as soon as it was listed, and I'm not quite sure why. I kind of went through their sort of items that they don't accept, and I don't know if I just put it in the wrong category or something, but anyway, I thought I'm not gonna risk it for a biscuit with that. So what I thought I would do is use the Vinted account at the moment as part of that decluttering exercise. Use it to get rid of any clothing and jewellery of my own and accessories and things like that, things that I know definitely fit into their categories. use it for part of the decluttering, and then all of the stuff that doesn't fit into those categories, I will chuck that on eBay. And yeah, just sort of do that, just get used to the platform. I've had that one transaction, that's all gone fine, the money has now cleared. I just love this no fees business. I mean, it's just, you know, it's amazing. This is gonna sound really daft, but it's amazing to sell something for £4 and actually get £4. It's a revelation. When you're used to eBay, you sell something for £4 and you end up with about £2.50 at the end of it, you know. So that's been really lovely. And I have got, you know, quite a lot of low value bits and pieces of my own that I will just chuck on there. And I'm thinking I could actually put them on there for £2 or £3, because actually that's, if I'd put them on eBay for 5 or 6, that's probably what I would have been left with. And at that lower price, it's more likely to sell as well. So I'm really excited, because I think Vinted is going to be a huge leap forward in terms of my decluttering, and sort of paying money off the mortgage and all of that business. So yeah, so that's kind of the plan for today. It's pretty standard. Oh, I have got, so while I was away, or kind of on one of my off days, I did pop out and managed to pick up a few little pieces of stock for the Etsy shop. Not much, but I will do a little mini haul later on. So I'm just going to get on with picking these orders and getting them packaged and stuff. And yeah, I'll come back to you when I'm a bit further on and I'm about to start listing. Okay, I'm back. So I have done all my business dispatch, and I've just got one thing on my personal eBay to dispatch. Also, just so you know, for the future, when I do my desk makeover, I'm actually going to change the orientation of my desk. So instead of having the sun behind me, I'll have it in front of me, which will, you know, light my face when I'm recording, rather than just kind of me being in shadow and having this kind of overexposed light behind me. That will be coming up in a video soon. But yes, eBay dispatch has all been done apart from one personal item, which I will do after I've had some lunch. And I've also done the financial update as well. And I have been able to pay off, so it was 37, wasn't it? Was the first payment. I've now paid off £159 as well. So I've had to leave some money in my business account for, well, actually I've already done it. I've ordered some padded envelopes, and yeah, just to make sure that absolutely anything that's coming out, like the postage that I've just bought and things like that. So I've had to leave some money in there to cover all of that. And then I've taken out the 159. And so that leaves me with £304 to go in 7 days. And if I was having a normal time on eBay, I'd be like, okay, that's just a week of normal sales. In fact, it's possibly even slightly less of a week of normal sales, but I'm not getting normal sales. So, you know, I've still got to just try and do something to get some more in by the end of the month. Now, I have got an Amazon payout coming through, which I think is going to be about £80, and that's going to be an enormous help. And this is one of the reasons why I'm so determined to build up multiple streams of income, because actually that 80 quid goes some way to compensating for, I mean, not all the way, but some way to compensating for just how dire eBay is at the moment. So yeah, 304 to go. I think roughly 80 quid kind of off that. So it's going to be down to about 220 from various shops and bits and pieces that I've got going on. Now, some of you have asked me in the comments about money for these vlogs. So the first thing you need to know is that I'm not going to make very much money from vlogs. So vlogging, you get quite a low CPM a lot of the time, and also they don't get my highest views. If you look kind of across my channel, you'll see that the income reports, the KDP focused stuff, are the ones that get the most views. So yes, I will make some money from the vlogs, but it won't be very much at all. And also the payout won't come until next month. So I think the threshold, from what I remember from being monetized last time, I think the threshold in pounds is £60, and I will get to that £60 soon, I think, once kind of everything's caught up with itself, but I won't get that until April, so it'll be a great little chunk coming in. Again, it's that, like I was just saying with KDP, it's that other little chunk of money coming in. So say, you know, next month I get maybe like 50 quid from KDP, 50 quid, or that'd be more than that'd be 60 quid from YouTube. It all just, I don't know, it just acts as a cushion, doesn't it, for when other things kind of drop down. So I'm hugely grateful to have it, but it won't affect this particular challenge, and it's probably not going to be as much money as you might be thinking or hoping that I might get for the vlogs. So I hope that clears up that question for people. And I will also, and I'm not quite sure when I'm going to do it, I think I might do like my first 3 months of being remonetized or something like that in a video where I dive into my analytics, or maybe I'll do it every month. I might do the first one next month. I'm not entirely sure, but I will go into more detail in a separate video rather than in a vlog about those things. Right, I'm going to go and have some lunch. I've got some leftover pasta, and I think I'm going to make a little salad to go with that as well. And yeah, have my lunch, come back, and then get cracked on with that final bit of eBay dispatch. Right, so we are now onto the meat and bones part of the day, which is the listing part. And I thought I would show you just a few of the little bits that I picked up for the Etsy shop. I think they are pretty much all for the Etsy shop. And I didn't spend a lot because I don't really, well, you guys know, because of this challenge, I'm not really making enough from my reselling this month to sort of reinvest that much. I have definitely bought some new stock because I think, you know, when you stop doing that, you lose the cycle of what you're doing completely, and then it almost becomes impossible to kind of to get going again. So as you saw in an earlier video, I think I spent, what was it? I thought it was 50, but it was actually about 68. And then I think what I've got here, including a few bits of jewellery, which I won't show you yet because I'm not quite sure what shop they're going to go in. I think it came to about £9, something like that. And yeah, let me just show you what I've got. So it all needs cleaning. I've got a bowl of soapy water downstairs. I'm going to take these down. So you can see that these little flowers at this end are really grubby. So this is Staffordshire bone china. Cost me £1. So if you're in the US, that's probably something like $1.20, $1.30, something like that. So not very much money. It's the type of thing that I'll probably charge like £5 plus postage for, and it fits perfectly with this sort of theme of a vintage bedroom and like little trinket dishes and things, and I love the shape of it, so I think that's really, really lovely. Very pleased to get that for £1 because, you know, a lot of places will be charging sort of £2 or £3 for something like that, and then it makes it almost impossible for me to make any money on it. And then a couple of pieces of pink glass, and I have sold quite a bit of pink glass on Etsy. It's one of my things that seem to be working as long as I can pick it up at these sorts of prices. So it's 50p for this little dish, and then £1 for the little lidded dish. And so far it's been the most popular colour of glass from the glassware that I have sold. So I'm always on the lookout for it, but again, usually I find pieces like that and someone's already priced them at £4, £5, £6, which is the price that I would sell them at, and so I can't really pick them up. But finding them for not very much money is always a bonus. It means that they don't take up very much room because they're quite small pieces, and there is a little bit of profit in there for me. The other thing I picked up is I think this is a made in Japan lipstick holder with a little mirror, so that just needs a little bit of a polish. Yes, made in Tokyo, and I need to look up the brand name. I can't quite see it properly just because of the way the light is. look up the brand name for that as well. I think that was in a little 50p basket. So again, even if I just pop it on for a few quid, gets a little bit of profit in. And then in here I got some little pairs of just clip-on earrings from the 50p bin. I think they're in a bag that says £1. That's not, I've put them in that. So presumably one pair probably cost £1, and then the rest were in the little 50p bin that I got some of the other bits from. And yeah, just some rhinestone and little 1950s floral earrings and things in there. But yeah, haven't quite decided where they're going to go and what I'm going to do with those yet. And then this I got in the 50p bin for a bit of fun, just because I have never seen one before. I don't think it will sell, but I just got it for my own amusement. So it's a handbag hanger, and the bag itself, look at the gorgeous shape of that. And yeah, you must put it on a shelf. I did get it out, and then it kind of twiddles around and you've got something to hook your handbag on. I don't know that anyone would buy that, but I thought for 50p it's amused me, so I'm going to get it. And then even if I just pop it in the shop for like £2 or £3, it will go large letter. You never know, there might be a little something in it at some point for me. And then the final piece that I got was this lovely Limoges dressing table set, and it, like, the whole lot came to £3. And let me show you what's in it. So there's a little little trinket dish. You can see that the gold around the edges is quite worn, but a couple of candlesticks. It's really beautiful. I really like it. I like the yellow flowers. They look like yellow poppies to me. In fact, I'm fairly certain they are poppies. And there's a little ring holder and the tray. What way up are we? That way up. The tray's gorgeous. I would have this. I'd love a nice sort of like soft yellow coloured bedroom, because I'm not really into pink. Don't really like pink and purple. They're not my favourite colours, but I really like this sort of yellow and green set, but I'm not going to keep it. I need to sell it. I don't know how much for yet. I'm going to clean it up and see how good it looks. I don't know whether to sell it individually or to sell it as a set. I know some people think that it's an absolutely heinous crime to kind of to break up sets and sell them. But I do find that people like more of an eclectic mix on in terms of their decorating, and they don't necessarily want everything matching. So I need to make a decision on that as well. But yeah, these are the things that I'm going to pop downstairs and just get those cleaned up. And then a little bit of photography. There's a few more bits in a drawer, the things from the last time that I didn't get around to photographing. Get all of that done and see what time we've got left when I get to that stage. Okay, so I've made a list of everything that I've photographed today, and this is my goal. I'm hoping to take Etsy from 50 listings to 60 listings and eBay from 447 to 451. It's not a lot. It's not a lot at all compared to what I'm used to, but because, like I said, sales are low, I'm trying to reinvest what I can, but that's not very much. So normally I could rattle out, 30 plus jewelry listings, but it's just not going to happen today. But this is better than nothing, and it's still a contribution towards things that could bring in money this month, and I've really got to just stick to my focus on that. Right, I also promised this. We're obviously on the next day now, and I forgot to do this yesterday, but anyway, we're wrapping up day 7. And I thought I would do this little mini review of how I'm feeling about the whole of the last 7 days, and also catch you up on what I finished off yesterday. So I added 4 listings to eBay. I think I added more than the 10 to Etsy that I was intending to. I think I've definitely got 10 live, but then I think I've also got 2 or 3 drafts of some other things that I found photos of on my phone and thought, oh, I can list those as well. So I got kind of part way through doing those extra ones. So I did all of that. It still feels, I can only describe it as like sort of mixed feelings about that, because you and I both know that I can list a lot more than that in a day. But I did have, you know, items to wash. I do find it slower and more challenging photographing the bric-a-brac than I do the jewellery. And I still find the Etsy upload process a bit slower than eBay. So even though I've got the seller app now and I find that so much easier for the photos, I'm still switching between desktop and app quite a lot, which I sort of don't really do so much on eBay anymore. Or I do all of it on one, switch to the other to do the photos, and that's kind of it. Whereas I still feel like I'm back and forth a bit with Etsy, but it's better. So it's okay, it's better. And I think I'm now on 260 listings there, which I'm quite chuffed with. Although not particularly chuffed with the fact that it's quite slow. And one of the things that I'm going to do is do some proper research on the prices that people are charging for things. And I've also found a few other vintage shops, and I've had a look at what they've sold, just to give me some ideas for other like little bits of bric-a-brac that might sell in my shop as well. And I also have to keep in mind as well that this is always probably going to be the smaller of the two, and it's the one where the pleasure from it, and almost like the purpose for it, is different. Yes, I do expect it to be profitable, but it's also this business where I get to work with my mum. And I think I mentioned in a previous vlog that I think we've got 2 fairs coming up now where and they're just like little local ones, so nothing, you know, like national or huge or anything like that, but just ones where we'll be showcasing some of my mum's sewing, and then I'll bring some little bits of jewellery along and some bits and pieces from the shop, and so on and so forth. And that's just worth it, isn't it, to have a little project with your mum on the go, that, yeah, it's just something you can both work towards. And even if it doesn't make any money or much money at all, the whole point of that one is that even when other stuff takes over, which I think it inevitably will, I genuinely think that, because the KDP is growing, this channel is, you know, gradually kind of growing and starting to bring in an income, and then there's all these other things that I'll be doing as well. And I do think eventually the other stuff will take over from the reselling as the kind of main bulk of my money. But I've grown oddly and slightly perversely attached to it, even though I hated it so much at one point. And I think I'm always going to have some sort of reselling business on the go, and it will be that Etsy shop, it will be that business that I share with my mum, or that she certainly participates in. And I have to bear that in mind when I get frustrated with it, that it's not doing what I think it should do. So yeah, so that's kind of what I managed to achieve by the end of day 7. And this is my little review. I'm just going to read my notes and the things that I put down. So my positives then, I have managed to maintain the reselling business, and I have invested in fresh stock, even though that's been really tricky this month. I've managed to reinvest about 70, what did we work it out as, about £78 into some stock. I have grown the Etsy shop slightly, but the eBay shop has kind of slipped in numbers. So, you know, it's probably fairly even Stevens. I don't think I haven't like overall grown anything to do with the reselling business, but I think I've clung on to maintaining it at roughly the same point it was last month. And I've also experimented with Vinted. I've learned quite a lot about that already, I think, and have decided that I'm going to use it for the purposes of decluttering any of my own jewellery and any of my own clothing. And I'm probably going to put like all the other stuff that doesn't fit into that category, that will stay on my personal eBay account. But it still feels good to have to have experimented and kind of tried that out. And then once I've sold through all of my own bits and pieces, I'll then have a little think about what I'm going to do with Vinted moving forward. And take some advice from other people as well, which you've been very kind enough to leave in my comments, so thank you for that. I managed to declutter a massive box of stuff from the office, which actually I need to seal up and get posted off in the second half of this challenge, and that has felt good. Don't get me wrong, it's still a junk room, there's still a long way to go, but a big box full of stuff, well on the way. I finished that KDP book and got it approved, which was quite tricky because there was something in the title that was triggering a problem, and what they do is they then kind of send it back and like send you an email and basically say that there's something misleading in your title. And the thing that they said was misleading, I have never had before. It was something where it said basically I'd made it sound in the title like there was an attachment, like a physical thing that's going to be attached to the book, which I hadn't. But I managed to isolate the word that I think was triggering it, and removed that, and then finally got that approved. So that book that was just driving me potty for I think like the first 5 days it took me to like eventually get that finished, it's finally approved, it's finally up for sale on Amazon. So fingers crossed it brings in some sales and it was all worth it. I have made at least some money towards my £500 target, and actually on like this 7th day that we'll pretend we're still on, I'm actually at the beginning of the 8th, but you know, the 7th day, I have paid off a chunk. It's not quite half, which is what I would have hoped for being halfway through the challenge, but it's still some. So it's still some, so that's good. It's almost halfway. And personally, like on a personal level, I have been so much more active for about 2 weeks now, because there's been, obviously you've seen the 7 days of work, and then there's been other days where I haven't been working, but I have been active. I've been walking, I've been kind of going and doing things, and it does make such a difference. It makes such a difference to my mood as well as just sort of physical fitness wise, so that's been really good. I've done a stint at the allotment as well, which has been really good, and I've got sort of more of that to come now that the weather is finally warming up. It's still quite rainy, but it's warming up. And then the other thing that was positive, basically these vlogs, like these, it's kind of been a revelation in the sense of not really appreciating how valued they would be. Now they're not going to be valued in terms of, you know, like thousands upon thousands of views, because it's like vlogs just don't really do that, certainly not on a channel of my size anyway. But the value that they are giving to people and that you are telling me about in the comments has really made it worthwhile. Like every time I've just thought, oh gosh, I need to pick up the camera, or I can't be bothered to. That's the thing. I've kind of stopped and thought, no, people want to see this, even if you've not got much to say, or if it is just a quick chit chat. People are saying that they want to see it, and that it actually makes them feel better, or it's company for them while they work, and just all of the things. You've only got to go and look in my comments to see the kind of things that people are saying that the vlogs kind of like bring them, and that's great because that makes it worthwhile for me as well. And it means that I will keep doing vlogs. Obviously I'm not going to be able to like vlog every single sort of work day like I do at the moment for this challenge, but I will probably, I think I certainly should be able to manage one a month, and then possibly a second one if there's time, and we'll just sort of see how that goes. So yeah, so that's really good, and I feel like I've stayed on top of answering people's comments, and I haven't let it interfere with my day. Like, I haven't responded as soon as one comes in or anything like that. I haven't put that pressure on myself. I've kind of given myself, you know, maybe 20 minutes of my lunch break, or half an hour in the evening, or, you know, 20 minutes in the morning or whatever, and I've just used that to try and like respond to people and stuff like that. So that's been good as well. And then finally, I've put on here that I have done quite a bit of research and updated my records. And I think my problem with acknowledging the research as a positive is that so many people tell you, like, don't get bogged down in the research. You'll end up researching and you won't get the thing done and all the rest of it. So that kind of talk has left me with a really sort of negative perspective on researching something before you do it. Whereas what I should be thinking is actually that's like, so try and kind of say this logically, it's not going to come out well, I don't think. My educational background, or my education background, having a history degree and a master's in history, the research is like the biggest thing that you do. The research is everything, and then the little bit that you do at the end is like writing up the research and creating the essay, because it is a creation. It's something that you're building from your research. And when you sort of come into this online space, you've sort of given this idea that the research thing, which was always the really, really important thing from my background, suddenly that's a bad thing. And, you know, it's only a bad thing if you never get round to writing the essay, if you see what I mean. But if you do write the essay, and plus you've done the research, your essay is probably going to be better. And I have to remember that I'm coming from this perhaps a slightly different background from some of the people that are in the online business space. And whilst I understand their principle of you just have to do the thing, I also really value the preparation and the thought and the sort of researching and practicing how to do things and stuff, and then making the thing. And also I do understand that the thing doesn't have to be perfect. And I think if you look at all the stuff that I'm doing, I'm clearly not someone that just thinks about and researches things and then never actually does it, because, you know, there are loads of people that think about starting KDP, they faff around making their first book forever and ever and ever, and they never upload it because they're not sure that they're ready. Well, I made a book and I put it on KDP. I researched a bit and I made it the best book I could at that point, but I still uploaded it. And then I continue to research, but I also continue to upload stuff. And I think I've probably got about 110, 115 books at the moment. Am I the best at it? No. But I'm still doing some research and doing the thing. And, you know, I have a YouTube channel. I haven't just sat around thinking about it and researching about it and like researching endlessly before I put a video out. I'm just chucking some stuff out and I'm doing the best that I can with it. But at the same time, I'm also researching topics that might make good videos in the future. So this is a really long-winded way of me saying that because I listened to other people a bit too much, I had devalued part of a process that prior to that was something that was always of huge value and of huge importance. And that's why research is on my positive list. That's to say, at the end of all that, done lots of research and updated my records is on my positives, even though I haven't done the Etsy uploads yet, but I will. Things that have either disappointed me or things that I need to improve. Just that thing that I've already mentioned, actually, that I've used up half the time but I haven't made exactly half the money. I'm still a little bit away from that. And you know, there have been times when I've used other jobs to make me feel, and perhaps to make you think as a viewer, that I've done lots of things, when actually I may have done lots of things, but I haven't necessarily always done the right things. And I definitely, as you'll probably tell towards the end of this 7 days, I kind of recognised it, got really disappointed with myself about it, and I'm now feeling at this halfway mark that actually I can turn that around and really make sure that I don't do that for the next 7 days. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'd love to know how you feel your last sort of, I suppose it would be like 5 to 7 work days, the last week of work has been like for you guys as well. Have you cracked on with loads of stuff, or have you found yourself doing busy work and little odd jobs like I did? Yeah, just let me know how your week has been, because mine overall, this 7 days has been good. It's been good. I feel like I've contributed to my business today and my business tomorrow as well. And yeah, I think that's a good place to be. So that's enough of my just chit chat. It's so waffly. I'm so sorry, as always, that you have to sit through some of this stuff. But anyway, onwards and upwards. I will say goodbye, and I'll see you again for day 8.